So hello, everybody, and welcome to Quick Start Brainstorming. I'm Dalia, and I'm very happy to be here with you today. And with me today is my delightful co-host, Mina. She's here to help keep things running smoothly. And in today's brainstorming session, since this month's theme is comedy, we'll be brainstorming ideas for a quirky fantasy comedy book. So whether you're brand new to Sudowrite or coming back after a break, you're here in the right place. Today, we're diving into one of the most magical parts of writing, brainstorming, specifically how to brainstorm with Sudowrite and how to get those sparkling ideas flowing. These quick start sessions are bite-sized classes designed to give you everything you need to hit the ground running. My goal here is simple. By the end of the session, I want you to feel confident using Sudowrite to generate story ideas that make you curious to write more about them. To make things easier, I've put together a class document with the key info we'll cover today so that you don't have to take frantic notes. I'll drop the link in the chat. Yeah, there's it. What we're going to do today is that after this introduction, we'll cover a few essentials for brainstorming with AI. And then I'll demo how to use the Brainstorm button, Quick Chat, and Canvas. At the end, hopefully we'll still have time to do a Q&A, so stick around if you've got any special questions. So first, a few key brainstorming tips. Something to always keep in mind when you brainstorm with AI. AI is not all-knowing, and it's definitely not neutral in the output that it gives you. Because of how AI is trained, it reflects the biases in its data, often shaped by Western white male perspective. That means it might present culture or history in ways that unintentionally echo outdated or dominant narratives that may not be actually correct. This is helped in quotes, since it doesn't work by giving you the most accurate or current info, at least the ones that are not connected to the internet, but rather the most statistically common one. And this can deliberately be manipulated. For example, Russia has tried flooding training data with biased or fake articles to sway how AI described the war in Ukraine. Or you can imagine other things like this. And on top of that, AI platforms always have some sort of content moderation censorship in place. Some topics are entirely blocked. Like, for example, if you'd ask the AI how to cook math, it wouldn't give you an answer. Or maybe it would give you an answer, but that would be something it has made up by hallucination. And others might be subtly shaped by national policies. Like in DeepSeek, these Chinese models often omit content that is critical of their government. You can go and just try to ask DeepSeek stuff about Taiwan and see what happens. It usually will just say something like, oh no, I can't answer this question. And also, as I said, AI can hallucinate a lot, meaning it may invent plausible sounding but false answers just to sound helpful, especially if it doesn't want to admit it doesn't know something. That got better in recent years, but even if I ask the ChatGPT something where I know the answer and it gives me a false answer, I'm like, are you sure? Then it sometimes admits that it's not the 100% sure. It pretended to be because it just didn't want to be unhelpful to me. So if you're writing about minorities, marginalized identities, non-Western cultures, or generally about historical events that are not that well researched, treat AI suggestions as a starting point, not the final word. Always follow up with research from current literature and voices within those communities. AI is a powerful brainstorming partner, but you're still the one who is in the end steering the ship. But with this heavy topic out of the way, we can go into the lighter stuff of how to brainstorm. And one thing that's important is that you're being specific in the stuff that you want from the AI. The more specific your prompt, the better your result. For example, instead of just saying, give me a story idea, you could try something like, give me a fantasy story set in a magical licensing office run by overworked gremlins who are trying to start a union. Something that is already very concrete, and that will help the AI to come up with rich and quirky details. Those specifics help shape to the tone, stakes, and originality of your story. So just give it everything that you already know about the story you want to brainstorm. Something else to keep in mind, don't aim for perfection. You're not trying to find the final version of your idea. You're just gathering raw material. Brainstorming is messy on purpose. Whether you're writing comedy or tragedy, you need room to experiment. Let Sudowrite throw spaghetti at the wall, and later you can pick the strands that actually stick. And something that's also important is don't just ask one question, iterate. Start with broad topics, then ask follow-up questions to zoom in on what works for your story. If something is intriguing but doesn't feel complete to you, dig deeper. That way you can steer the story in the direction that you need and build up great ideas from something that maybe hasn't been that detailed at the beginning. And with that being said, we'll switch over to Sudowrite, which should be here, yes. Today in our brainstorming session, we will start working with the Brainstorm button. I mean, with this name, it's kind of obvious the first thing that you would look at if you want to brainstorm something. This is like a magical idea generator, and it's great for pitches, character quirks, plot twists, world building, and basically everything. If you click on it, you'll end up in this overview. And you can choose from some of these presets, or just if you want to do something else. In this case, I want to brainstorm some high concept pitches. I would go for something else and get this overview. And in this give me a list of, you would put in what you want. In this case, this works. High concept pitches for fantasy comedies. And in the context, you can give it all the context you already have about the story. And I prepared some stuff so that you do not have to look at me typing very slowly. So in this context would be that it's set in a fairy tale world full of enchanted rules, legal chaos, and unlikely heroes chasing fame, redemption, or magical relevance. My aim is to go for something that feels a bit like the Shrek movies from the past. That, I mean, there's, I think, a new one coming out. Anyway, here you can also add some examples in case you have already a specific vibe in mind, or just want to make sure that it follows a specific structure. You can copy in a few examples. Like this one, a fairy godmother is forced to stand trial for magical malpractice, but her only defense witness is a talking pumpkin with a grudge. Or could go with a cursed sword, gains sentience. It gains sentience and reinvents itself as a passive-aggressive life coach, but its motivational speeches come with a bloody price. I like to give it like 3 examples. So we just add another one so that it gets an idea. And this is about a young dragon discovers social media and decides to build a brand instead of terrorizing the valley. Unfortunately, knights, curses, and constant algorithm changes threaten his rise to fame. And now we have like 3 examples. We have a context of what kind of story we want. And then we can click on the little start button and it will start thinking. This Brainstorm is now powered by Sonnet 3.7, which makes it quite clever. And we'll get a few ideas. And now that we can check out all the results, and if we like something, we can thumb it up. And if we don't like it, we can thumb it down. Now we start with a reluctant necromancer inherits his uncle's funeral home business in a town where the dead are contractually obligated to attend their own wakes and critique the catering. Okay, this sounds funny. Here, a bureaucratic nightmare. Now, I'm German. I already have more than enough bureaucracy in my life. That does not have to happen, so that we can dump it down, and so on and so on. And oh my God, the Real Housewives of the Enchanted Forest. Yes. And this way it will generate, depending on what you thumbs down and thumbs up, new fun ideas. And all those ideas, along with your examples from the beginning, will end up here in the keepers. And you have also the ability, if you have something here in the keepers, that you go in and edit stuff. For example, you don't want this to be a disgraced wizard, but what could it be? Any ideas? Who could be the producer of Real Housewives of the Enchanted Forest?
Do you need a name or just
a being, it would, or whatever pops to your mind.
the Oz, the Magician of Oz?
Ah, the disgraced Magician of Oz. Or is it, what was it? Is it of Oz? I'm not sure. Of Oz. Oz. I'm not sure if it's.
That's cool. There we can actually put things in the keepers.
Yeah, it's really helpful. And for example, if we had any idea that would just pop up for us now, we could just add another card and type it in, which is also quite helpful. And if we decide that there's an idea that we, after all, don't like that much, we can also go and just click on the delete button and it's gone. And that way we can just go through here with, oh no, not copyright. Yeah, we can go through this and decide what we want to keep and what we don't want to keep. I like this. The Enchanted Mirror starts a gossip blog about the royal family. Yeah, and that way we can fill this up. And once we decide we have enough, oh, I can't keep reading those, or I just want to thumbs up everything. But then this will probably last a few hours. So if you see one that you think we definitely should keep, raise your hand and tell me, or I will save and exit and they'll be gone forever. Yeah.
Big question. Each time you do a thumbs up and thumbs down, that use credit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, every generation uses credits. Since they switched to Sonnet 3.7, I'm not sure how much credits exactly, but we can look this up once we have saved it, exited, left the brainstorm pane.
If you don't save and exit, what happened?
I'm honestly not sure. I'm always too paranoid to lose stuff that I never thought about just closing this. And I just, because I think this is funny, I just copy this in case, because I like this idea that we go with Real Housewives of the Enchanted Forest, and then we'll see what happens. Oh, it just sends it to this side regardless. Oh, thank God, because I really would have hated to lose all those fun ideas. But this is the pane, the place where the card would show up. And yeah, now you can just copy and use all the ideas. And I've just seen your hand flashing up, Manor. Do you have a question?
Well, there was someone asking, did you prompt a certain number of idea, or does Sudowrite provide a preset number of idea?
I think it provides, like, I think it was 6 ideas usually to fill the screen, and then
one at a time.
One at a time gets refreshed when you thumbs down or thumbs up. I'm not sure if you could prompt it, or if it's probably hard coded. And here you can see that every prompt was like roughly, it depends, probably somewhere between 500 and 750. Numbers are always the hardest part when you're not in your native language. 700, like in this range, we have the costs for each suggestion. And now that we have a mix of ideas, do you have a favorite? If you don't have one, I will just pick mine. So drop something in the chat.
I'm looking, nothing so far. Anyone has a favorite in those little cards? Oh, number 5.
Number 5, our little dragon. Yeah, that was also from the examples that I came up with. That was my favorite. A young dragon discovers social media.
The other one is Disgrace Ways of Oz, and the other one is The Housewife Look Fun. So we have 3 ideas.
Yeah, then the disgraced Wizard of Oz becomes producer. Could also, I mean, this is one word. We could also try to have this mix the ideas up a bit.
That's what I was thinking. We can highlight and ask ChatGPT to merge everything.
Yeah.
Quick chat, sorry. I don't know why I call it always ChatGPT. Is quick chat.
Yeah, quick chat. It's the next thing we go through. Because that's also a good thing. Oh, but let's just do it right now. I like those 2 ideas, mix them together. That's what I said about my typing. Oh, that is. Maybe the dragon could do reaction videos. And that's News of the show. Peaking. I'm not really sure how peaking is written this. Oh, whatever. Peaking the Wizard of Oz. Wizards. Interesting. What? Think. That's a fantastic idea. Funny enough, I think ChatGPT always thinks it's a fantastic idea on default if you don't tell it to be critical to you. But it's still nice to get some positive reinforcement. And that would lead to a little more conflict and humor to the show. Now that we started out here with our ChatGPT, now I'm also saying it as ChatGPT, we should go over to the thing that's not like ChatGPT, because Quick Chat does not have history. So if you like something, you have to highlight it and copy it out. Since if you close this, everything we just talked about is gone. Okay, so now we have already a few ideas to work with. That's also something that's really fun about working with AI, that it's so easy to have a sounding board and to just ask it to do the annoying work of actually mixing the stuff together. It can do all the typing and you can just think and have fun. But now that we have our little concept a bit more developed than we had it before, another thing I like to brainstorm are character traits. It's something I got because we need as a context. If I brainstorm about the story we're working on, I always use the pitch as the context in Brainstorm so that Brainstorm has an idea what we're covering. And I noted, and we reached the word limit because this little box is not unlimited. I think it's likely 400 characters or something along that. So in this case, since I wanted to ask about our wizard, I would just cut out our dragon boy. But that's also something to keep in mind, that these boxes are not unlimited. Right now, this may change in the future if we nag Ryan enough about this. And then here I would ask something like traits. Give me a list of, I know think I'm faster just typing instead of looking for the right line in my, like weird, quirky character traits for the disgraced Wizard of Oz. Ah, Jesus. Great. Then we can also come up with some examples for this. Like, I don't know, feigns at the side of glitter, which is likely not very helpful if he's working in reality TV. Maybe he has a collection of antique spoons for emotional support or whatever hilarious thing you come up with.
I'm talking and I'm mute, as if enough fork so he can scratch himself.
Oh. Can you repeat this? I didn't quite catch the beginning.
A collection of antique forks so he can scratch himself. He's a dragon, so it's hard to scratch his skin.
With the wizard, but
We're talking about the wizard or the dragon? Sorry.
yes, but we're talking about the wizard right now, but it would also work
For him too.
to scratch himself.
He's having a magical itch which he cannot scratch with anything else but with antique forks.
Ah, yeah.
That's my childish sense of humor.
With antique box. So we have some character traits for him. Then we would just go start and let it think again. And basically we go over the same way. Oh, this is funny. He carries a miniature tornado in a bottle that he releases to create dramatic exits. That's also very, like it suits the Wizard of Oz because of the tornado thing. And that also is something that I wouldn't have come up with myself, even though it is, now that you think about it, it's quite obvious thing that could be doing. Cameras to make this. Oh my goodness. Enchants the cameras to make his bald spots invisible to viewers. Okay, what is everyone thinking? Anything they want to keep? Don't be shy.
I'm looking, nothing so far.
I like the first one where,
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. That first one?
yeah,
Yeah, that's also something that's cute.
And Rex is
Okay.
asking, says use cliche like can call up curtains to hide behind. He can see them, but they cannot see him.
Ah, yeah, that's a good one. And that would be a way we could use this little keeper thing. I would have to head over to the chat. I hope I didn't.
And the other person says, I like the allergy.
yeah.
Oh, my good. Like this one. Where's the is this a new one? I like the allergy. Where's the allergy?
I'm looking.
Ah, this one has an allergy to truthful statements that causes him to.
Yep.
Okay, this is really good. Yeah. Okay. But that's fun. I think that we have a good collection of character traits for him that we can later read through and decide what to actually keep. And this time we just hit a little save and it just shows up above our other brainstorming card. got this fun. And yeah, the editor is really, really fun thing to do. And I really love to use this feature to ask for like quirky character traits, since this little quirky behaviors often make characters unique. It doesn't have to be as like weird as attitude to truthful statements or transformed into a small talking toad that doesn't fit all genres. But I think in all genres, the quirkiness of the characters, makes them memorable. So that's something I really like to go for. Mana, you raised your hand?
Yeah. Some of it can also be a secret that he doesn't want people to know. So if someone is lying, is sneezing, as allergic to truthful statement that cause him. So when it's true, you got something, and you cannot tell everyone that I know he's telling the truth or things like that. You know, some secret.
Yeah.
And they're all good.
Oh. Yeah, and this is really fun considering you would assume that the average
would be the opposite.
Thing you said, it would be the opposite, and that the average person would be truthful in their statements. But this way, if he like barely ever sneezes, you know that reality is full of untruthful statements. Reality TV, or maybe reality, if you want to go a bit darker. But that's definitely a fun thing to consider. And talking about secrets, that's also something we can explore further with our little quick chat, which is like really your personal brainstorming sidekick and gives you the ability to really ask your project questions. I mean, right now we don't have much in this project, but once you have a story Bible filled out, it also accesses, I think, definitely characters, world building, and I think also synopsis and genre, because when I asked about genre yesterday, it could tell me the genre. And this way it knows about your story and can help you answer questions and make sure if something that you're coming up with is actually congruent with the characterization of a character. And you can just, like I did before, you highlight something, go to quick edit, and I know it was already in quick chat, but you can just switch over to quick chat over here. Or if you prefer using like key commands on your keyboard, you can go with Command K if you're on a Mac, or Control K on Windows, and it just pops up the same. And then you can ask any question about the text and the project. And one thing that's unique about Quick Chat is that it's also looking at the different documents in your project if there are several things. So it's currently the only feature that actually like knows what's going on in a document that you're not currently in, which is quite cool. But let's work a little more about our wizard. Or maybe we could switch over to our dragon for a moment. Because now we know already a lot of things about our little wizard, but we could find out now about our young dragon.
Rex had that make the dragon female and likes to appear on the late night, so where she answer question and breathes fire at the bad question. Does that make sense, Rex?
Yes, it does, madam. Yes, it does.
Perfect. So appear late at night, and then she breathes fire when bad question. Okay.
Okay, then an active web young dragon character, and she is female and likes to appear on late night shows. The funny thing about late night shows is they're not at all popular in Germany because we all go to bed too early. So they never really got popular over here because we're just like, we have to get up early in the morning. We don't stay up on late night TV. Just as a funny little tidbit about the differences in our cultures. Okay, she's female and likes to appear on late night shows and breathes fire at bad questions, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Questions.
So like to appear on late night show where she answer questions and breathes fire at bad question.
Okay. Okay, where she answers questions. Okay. What could we ask about her? Like, could ask for something like, profile was the word I was looking for. Sometimes words are fleeting. It's like, what was this in English again? But this should work. Profile. Amber. Oh, my Amber is such a quick. How does that sound? Let's look at this. Here's a quick character profile for your young dragon. Name Amber. Species young dragon. I mean, it would say it would just be dragon, but gender female. Amber has shimmering emerald scales that reflect light like jewels. Her eyes are striking gold, and she has a playful tuft of fiery red hair atop her head. That sounds fun. And Manon, you have raised your hand.
That's my character for my books.
That is interesting. How did this happen?
They like to
Is
call
your character also witty, sassy, and a bit of a diva? Maybe that's
so
your character grown up with a.
oh boy.
Okay, sharp tongue and even sharper sense of humor. Apart from her late night show gigs, Amber enjoys creating content for social media, special reaction videos.
I want to write that story, okay?
Yeah, it's really fun. Amber has a tendency to get overly dramatic. Yeah, it came off, I mean, breathing fire dramatically when faced with cringeworthy questions is overly dramatic, fanning her wings and making extravagant gestures. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, now we have to. Yeah, this window could be a bit bigger, I think, but that sounds good. But let's see, what is a secret from Amber's past that could come back? Good thing. Like, I mean, if she was a fearsome dragon, there definitely are some. Okay, now I don't know the English, but in Germany we would say that there are bodies in her basement. I'm not sure if that's also something you'd say in English, but Amber likely has bodies somewhere when she terrorized the valley. How about this? Stealing enchanted items. Maybe she stole something important to the wizard. That's also something. That once belonged to the wizard.
Someone put an idea for you in the chat.
Oh, I head over.
Has been so engaged. She has been so engaged in pursuing fame, she has neglected the whiz.
Oh. Ah. That would actually work really, really well into this. That now she has to. Now I have. Now I have I found my train of thoughts back. With this backstory, it would work really well if Fane would cause her to not think about this anymore. And then it bites her in the. I'm not sure what follows in English, but I think you know what I'm talking about. This is okay. So this is good. Oh. Now the good. Absolutely, that adds juicy layer of tension. But in this way, you can just build on like one short prompt and build her really out as a character, which is something that for me is the most fun part, is when you go back and forth discussing this stuff with chat, because you can just really build onto your ideas and come up with different things when you read something that chat came up with that you didn't come up with. So that's always really helpful. It's like you have your brainstorming partner and junior writer who's always available to you and never needs to sleep, eat, or has anything he wants from you. So just really helpful.
Rex,
but since
Rex
do we have
he now lives in a bubble created by her suppressed desire. Are we going in a funny romantic kind of story? Bubble just waiting for pinprick.
Oh yeah, that could work.
Yeah, you're 15 minutes before the hour.
Yes. That's why we will copy this out and put it down here. And I will add this all for your enjoyment to the file that I've sent you so that you can look up what exactly we did to get to our results. Since I also want to show you something else, what I like to use for brainstorming. And for this, we just go back to our, we just take this little pitch. That's enough for demo purposes. Since there's one part of not Sudowrite, of Sudowrite that often gets overlooked, that's this little canvas down here, which gives you a more visual thing to work with. And it's always a surprise when you open, because sometimes I find, and there's like a tutorial in there, sometimes it's not. This time it's not here, which is good because it gives us space to work without me having to delete a lot of stuff. Here in Canvas, you can use this for like something like mind mapping if you're more of a visual person. And for example, you can create a card and add some text to this, like here. Like we have our pitch. And we have two options. You can generate more ideas like this, or we can use visualize. We just go first with this one, and this will just create some new ideas that relate to our pitch. The wizard show becomes hit, attracting the attention of the most powerful creatures in the enchanted forest. The dragon's rise to fame catches the eye of a mysterious figure who offers to help. Oh, yeah, I didn't mention in here that our dragon is female, so whatever. Maybe he's gender fluid. They're gender fluid, so that. Oh, I had himself in there, so. But it's not important for demonstration purposes. Like this, you can generate new ideas. And you can also, now it won't let me. Use visualize to get some visual ideas for your project, which I also like to get ideas about how characters look or related stuff. It always takes a little while. And it's not, I think it's using DALL-E, so it's not the newest, greatest thing that you get in image creation now on ChatGPT. So words aren't its strong suit. But at least we have real housewives of the enchanted forest. And some fun little imagery going along with this. This is actually quite good. But that's not all you can do in here. Now I highlighted the wrong things. Aside from just expanding on your ideas, you can also go and have this create an outline. And it shows a little bit more of a visual representation of an outline. Like, I think I have to zoom out a bit so that you can actually see this. Okay, that was a bit too far. Yeah, like this. Like the hero's journey is circular, and the way this is ordered on the screen represents this. But if, for example, you switch over to Hollywood Beats, which is comparable to Save the Cat, you would get something that looks more like this, with ups or with downs and ups and all this, like more wavy. And you can also use story circle. which is a simpler version of the hero's journey, which was created by Dan Harmon to be used in like series, to have like for TV episodes of stuff like sitcoms or something. This is a very good well-working structure. Also, it's good for novellas or shorter stories in general. And the romance outline, which also looks a little bit different. In our case, I'd probably go with story circle, since it's a bit simpler and also works well for various genres. Or maybe oh, I just noticed the example we get for story circle is the Wizard of Oz, so of course we have to now stick with story circle. And you can just hit here to generate the whole outline, or you can fill out stuff manually and then fill in the missing steps. But for the demonstration, I just go ahead and generate a full outline. Since the weak spot of Canvas is that it's not connected to your story Bible, so it's not that useful when you're in later stages of development, but in the beginning, I like this to get a first idea of how the story could look like. And I like the way that you can, for example, Malric. The disgraced wizard has the name now. He's called Malric. I'm not sure if that's his actual name. Maybe. I mean, fun. Like, can be like, I don't really like the way he stumbles over a reality show called Real Housewives because he's the one inventing it. So you can just go and say, generate a few options for this card that look different from. Yeah. Then you get some ideas that are different that you could use at this stage of the story. And let's see. Yeah. And that way you can work with the structure to give you a lot more ideas to just bounce back and forth with your story. And once you're like, I like the outline that it gave me, you can just click here and copy the outline to your clipboard, what's the name? And then you can head over back to your project. And put it down here. And you can use this along with the other things that we brainstormed and just throw it into your brain dump and go working from there. Because as you can see, while we came up with a lot of ideas, we're still only at roughly 1,600 words. So that's well in the 2,000 word limit we have for brain dump. So we can just, like, if it's an actual project I'd be working on, I would read through all of this and make sure there's nothing in there that I dislike. And then I would put this down here. And I likely will do this until next week when we'll be working on this concept in the Introduction to Story Bible class. But now we have only 4 minutes left. And I think we've gathered a really solid foundation of ideas for this book, so that we can really build on this in next week's class. And the question now is, do you have any questions?
Nothing in the chat, but anyone can unmute and ask.
Yeah, feel free to unmute and just ask questions.
Quick question. The problem that I'm running into, I have bios or backgrounds for a lot of my characters, and they go into 1,000, 2,000 words. But as I understand it, that brain dump will only take chunks of 300 words at a time. And the suggestion is that I chunk it up and then I put it in a chunk at a time. And if I put it in at a chunk at a time, what do I do? Do I append an additional 300 words to the 300 words that are already in there? Or do I erase the previous 300 words and then enter the new chunk?
Okay, that's complex.
Aber ich weiß nicht, was zu tun.
Yeah. Where did you get this advice? Since the brain
from another AI called Perplexity.
Yeah.
I would put it in the
Perplexity likely doesn't know how Story Bible works.
Okay, fair enough.
Since you can actually put up to 2,000 words into brain dump.
No problem then.
But so they would have a little bit more space. But also, if you already have your characters, you can also use this here under characters. You can import characters.
Okay.
And would just paste this in here. And I'm not sure what the limit for this box is. But if I remember correctly, something like 50,000 words. So even if you would go one character at a time, you wouldn't run into any limits, probably.
Good.
And it's also free, so you could just go and try this.
Okay.
Or you can put everything in the character box manually, just copy and paste, get it.
Yeah, if you already have this in your preferred, like we're jumping a bit ahead, but if you already have this, okay, mine look a bit full, but if you already have it in some sort of structure that you want to keep, you can just copy paste it. I mean, that's a bit of manual work, but
sure.
That way you can be sure that the AI doesn't change anything that you don't want to be changed.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So any more questions? Doesn't look like it. Then I don't want to steal any more time from your Sunday than necessary. And we really got to cover everything. I usually always go a little bit over the hour. So I'm like, yeah, I managed to keep myself on track this time. So what I'd like to do is say thank you to all of you. And also big thank you to Manar for keeping an eye on the chat and making sure that I'm not going overboard. And I hope that this class sparked some ideas in you. And I'd really love to see you in the next class where we will look at our wizard and our dragon and see how all of this develops. And if you enjoyed today's class, please leave a rating and a review. Your feedback really means the world. And now go forth and write something weird and wonderful. And I wish you some happy writing for this Sunday. Bye-bye.